free income and accumulate family wealth. You simply need to call the Ron Siegel team at 1-800-306-1990. That is 1-800-306-1990. By sending the team a copy of your most recent mortgage statement, the team will send you a no-obligation real estate plan. You be the judge if this is right for your family. Again, all you have to do is send the team a copy of your mortgage statement by email to reap@ronsiegelradio.com or call today. Ron Siegel, 1-800-306-1990. That is 1-800-306-1990.
Rate subject to change and without notice. Licensed by the California DOC and BRENMLS 217037 and 145502 and Cal BRE 01869452 and 1866775.
You're listening to Ron Siegel's Home and Finance Radio Show, only on Financial News and Talk. Now live in studio, your host, local and national real estate expert and consumer advocate, Ron Siegel.
And hello again. Welcome to Ron Siegel Radio. This is the show with no real boundaries as we discuss current events, financial markets, politics, sports, even poking fun at the rest of the media. This is the show that connects the dots of confusion delivered by conflicting media reports. We connect the dots so you know the actions you can take, how your family or business can benefit from current events. Most of all, thank you for joining me. Within every market, there are solutions as well as tremendous opportunities. You just need some trusted guidance. That is my message, and I will be delivering it every day. We have a very focused show. We only chat about items that affect the roof over your head, your bank account, and anything I feel would benefit you. But before we get into our intriguing content today, please join me in welcoming our featured guest and repeat offender.
I got a bad feeling about this.
Beef Wellington Pendell is with us from the Career Compass. Welcome.
Thank you, Ron. I appreciate it. Glad to be back again. And before we get started here, I got to take about 30 seconds to call Ron out. Didn't tell him I was going to do this, but we're on Facebook a couple of months ago, and just leave it to your friends to embarrass you in front of the entire Facebook world, and that's what Ron did about. So Ron gets on there and he starts making comments about me on Facebook, and I'm like, Ron, what are you doing? This is crazy. And it just goes to show you get to be good friends with somebody, and who needs enemies when you got friends on Facebook like Ron? So Ron, I want to thank you for that. That was a wonderful thing.
And I don't even know that I did it, so that makes it even better, right? I mean,
it does. It makes it totally better. You probably didn't know what you said, and I fired back at Ron. What the heck are you talking about? That wasn't very nice, type of thing. And all my friends are laughing at me. And they're like, who's this new friend of yours? I'm like, this is Ron Siegel. He does this great radio show. You got to tune in. So
now, wait a second. It had nothing to do with me that your friends were laughing at you.
No, that's true. My friends laugh at me on a regular basis no matter what.
Exactly.
Absolutely the case.
Well, let me remind you, if you ever have any home or finance-related questions, I am the consumer advocate looking out for you, and you can reach out to me directly, 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990. Or RonSiegelRadio.com. Just remember, that's the number you call anytime for assistance. When you call that number, it comes directly to me first. There are no operators standing by. I am it.
Quiet, numbskulls. I'm broadcasting.
While I do have a great team when it comes to developing a financing plan or plan to save you money, I personally work with you, even if you don't have any needs today. Save this number in your phone for future reference. 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990. Cinco de Mayo. Let's see what we're celebrating on Cinco de Mayo before we get to the margaritas, because after the margaritas, we're really not going to care what we're celebrating. It'll be just about anything at that point. And I don't know whether this goes together or not. There's two things that are celebrated today that I hope they're not indulging too much in the margaritas, because today is National Astronaut Day. Now, I don't know about margaritas in space. I don't know what that'll do to you. And today is also National Teacher Appreciation Day. And it's just my guess that there are a lot of young families out there right now that are really, really appreciating teachers when they get to send their kids to school and they're not doing the homeschooling. I just surmise that. And I always wonder this. When I asked this last year, nobody was able to give me a decent answer to this. How could you possibly have National Hoagie Day on Cinco de Mayo? How does that work? I mean, a hoagie on Cinco. I can understand tacos. I mean, today, Taco Tuesday on Cinco de Mayo, that makes sense. But Hoagie Day on Cinco de Mayo, I just scratch my head. I know I've probably done that way too much. That's probably why there's no more hair left, but that's just a different story. Let's take a look at what the markets are doing right now. We like to look at those all the time for you. On a day like today, it's much nicer to look at the markets. Yeah, the Dow Jones Industrial Average up almost 400 points. S&P 500 up 52 points. NASDAQ up 181 points. Oil is up $3.64 a barrel. That's a good number. I know that there's people that are out there saying that, we're just coming out of this quarantine and oil's going back up. So we didn't even get a chance to take advantage of all of those low prices. But, that's just the way it is. And anyway, we're in Calizuela, so it really doesn't matter because we don't get to take advantage of the low prices in Calizuela anyway. National average right now of a gallon of gasoline, $1.78.5. Calizuela, we are at $2.74.5. So that is, although, we're not driving anywhere, so it probably doesn't matter that the gas prices are that high. Let's take a look also at interest rates. What's going on there? The 10-year Treasury, 0.656. Right, and that's what the mortgage-backed securities follow that somewhat. But hey, something? When you're borrowing $4 to $6 trillion in a quarter, that's going to push the supply of bonds way up, which means the price of the bond, we're going to see some increases. We were down at 50 basis points. Still better off than if you put your money in Germany for 10 years where they don't give it all back to you. They're actually charging. There's a negative interest rate on the German 10-year bond, negative 0.577. How'd you like to be a senior citizen in Germany and you have your money in what you think is a safe investment and you don't even get it back at the end of the time period? You have to pay them to hold your money. I just throw that out there. Fascinating stuff to me. Although many people say that I've got a warped mind. So fascinating to me might be a little bit different. Did you hear the president this morning? He is pretty brash, and I know people find me very, very introverted, and I have nothing to say. I don't share my opinions. Very similar to our guest this morning. Beef is really a quiet guy, and especially if you've been lucky enough to go to one of his conferences, he's an equal opportunity individual at his conferences. If he hasn't got you yet, he'll get you by the end, and it's great. I love it. But this morning, one of the reporters from the Lame Media asked him, as he's leaving for Arizona, they asked him why he doesn't want Dr. Fauci to testify in front of the House of Representatives. And the president, he didn't make the comment. One of the comments that I would have said is, well, the House of Representatives is still on vacation. And yes, they are getting their $174,000 a year salary while they're on vacation. I don't know about you. I'm not getting a salary, so I'm not going on vacation right now, right? But he said, why would I want to have Dr. Fauci? He's a busy guy, right? Why would we want to have him testify in front of the House of Representatives when he's got other things to do, when we know it is nothing more than a witch hunt, right? Mad Maxine Waters is going to be there. Chicken Schiff is going to be there. You put in there the character Jerry Nadler. Do you think that it's going to be anything more than just a show? I would say a chicken shift show, but you might call it something different, right? So glad to see that the president just called out exactly what it is, said it, told the media what the Democrats are up to. Those press conferences that the president does are very, very painful to watch, especially when you are a patriot, when you like to watch and see what's going on in a positive manner for our country, when you're hoping, and I say this all the time. I was not a fan of President Obama, but you have to root for the guy when he's driving the plane, right? I mean, do you really want the pilot to fail? Well, if you are a Democrat, if you're a Democrat politician, the answer is yes. If you're in the Main Street media, the answer is yes. They've come out and said that we need a great recession, a deep recession, maybe even a depression, so that they can beat the president. Now, here's the interesting thought process. I mean, who are they putting up against the president? Joe Biden. Now, it's horrible that we've had over 60,000 deaths in the U.S. from this pandemic. But in Joe Biden's commentary and his solution, he's out there telling everybody that there's 600,000 deaths in the U.S. I mean, could you imagine if he went to try and put this deal together, this package together, and he said, well, instead of every family getting $600 a week extra in unemployment, well, we're going to give them $60,000 a week extra in unemployment, right? I mean, that's the type of numbers that we're hearing from the man. And I am the first to admit, I'll tell you this straight out. It is my personal story, so I can share it. I lost my dad to complications from dementia. It is an ugly disease. It is a horrible disease. I watched it firsthand. I watched the progression. I'm not a doctor, but there is something going on cognitively with former Vice President Biden. Just throw that out there. And there are diehards, Hillary Clinton, that come out and say, well, we want him to be our president of the United States. Unbelievable.
It is what it is.
That's about all we can say. We're a divided country. Let's see what else is going on in the news. So Dr. Fauci, Dr. Birx are planning on testifying in front of the Senate. Maybe we'll get some decent information there. Although when we watch what's been going on, and even in the Senate, and I listened to Lindsey Graham over the weekend, you know, they've got to put a fire under some people. I mean, how in the world can it be that we have done to a 3-star general what's going on to this man? Now, I don't know, as a 3-star general, where in the world he came up. I mean, I hear about military people, and I am indebted to military. If it wasn't for the men and women of the United States military, I could not do what I do on a regular basis, right? You go to China, talk about the negative about the country or your own opinions about the country. Well, we already know what they did to the doctor that talked about the Wuhan flu, right? The virus, right? But, you know, Dr. Flynn, they say that his legal bill, or our General Flynn, his legal bills are $6 million. Ow! I mean, talk about legal bills. Now, I've had some legal bills in my day, but $6 million? How has the man been able to survive on that? And, it's only a military man or somebody with very, very high level of integrity would do what the general has done, in my opinion. I'm sure that he knows in his heart that he did nothing wrong, but he made a decision to plead guilty when the FBI decided to try and frame his son like they were framing him. You know, something I would do anything for my kids as well. So I got to give the general a huge kudos for that. Just my opinion. That is where it is. Elon Musk is in the news also. Did you see this one? I don't know about this. How about this? I don't know how you say he just had a baby this morning. No, his wife or his girlfriend, not him. And the baby's name, I don't know what this plan is. Are you ready for this one? XAEA12. That's the baby's name. Now, if that's a scientific notation, I don't know. But XAEA12, this guy's off his rocker, but he does have an amazing company. It's done really well. I mean, if you're an investor, you probably enjoy it. I just throw that out there. Speaking of really well, I think we've got a great broadcast lined up for you today. I always enjoy my conversations with the great Beef Wellington. So we're going to have a conversation with him this morning. We're going to talk about confusion in the economic recovery. We'll talk about that. Why do I think that real estate is still going to appreciate even though we've got a bit of a stagnation right now? Mortgage relief and the coronavirus, what you need to know, all that and more. You can reach me anytime. Our off-air number, 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990, or RonSiegelRadio.com. Connect with us. Facebook.com/Ron Siegel Radio, on Twitter @Ron Siegel. And if you miss any part of our broadcast, shame on you. But the replay, it's available. Ron Siegel 1 on YouTube. Ron Siegel, the numeral 1 on YouTube. Stay tuned. We'll be back in just a few.
Secure 10+% return on your investments? Is your credit score over 800? Are you living in the home of your dreams or simply where you think you can afford? If the answer to any of these questions is no, what are you doing about it? Text ATP to 79564. Complete a 3-minute complimentary survey and the area trusted professionals of Ron Siegel Radio will reach out to you to develop a success strategy for you. Again, all you need to do is text ATP to 79564.
Did you know that banks and credit bureaus are rewarded financially if you have bad credit? And the worse your credit score is, the more money they can make off of you? How does that make you feel, knowing that banks are getting rich off of your hard-earned money? How does it make you feel, knowing that if a bank or a credit bureau makes a mistake on your credit report, they benefit from it and it hurts you? The Fair Credit Report Act of 1971 requires banks and credit bureaus to report only accurate information, and nearly 100% of all credit reports are inaccurate. If you're sick and tired of being broke and tired of being robbed by the banks, you owe it to yourself and to your family to call Rondi. Rondi is a FICO-certified credit professional and has helped thousands of people just like you get out of debt and establish great credit. Rondi's number is 855-608-1990. Again, that's 855-608-1990. Or visit creditsanitizer.com. Again, that website is creditsanitizer.com.
Are you a veteran, own a home, and need money? The Siegel Lending Team is here to help veterans refinance and get the money they need. The VA 100 lets you borrow up to 100% of your home's value, refinance your mortgages, consolidate credit cards, and lower your payments by an average of $700 a month. And the Siegel Lending Team knows that character means more than a credit score. Call 800-306-1990. That's 800-306-1990. Rate subject to change without notice. Licensed by the California Department of Corporations, NMLS 21037 and DRE number 018694452.
Are you a veteran, police officer, firefighter, doctor, nurse, or teacher? If so, you qualify as one of Ron Siegel's VIP heroes, and we have rewards up to $5,000 or $10,000 when you buy, sell, or refinance a home with one of the Ron Siegel radio partners. As one of the heroes, real estate agents will rebate part of their commission. Lending partners will give a credit at closing. The title company has special published rates, and many other service providers have incentives too. All you need to do is call Ron Siegel Radio at 1-800-306-1990. That's 1-800-306-1990. Or visit VIPHeroProgram.com. Just think about what you will do with all the rebates and incentives from the partners of Ron Siegel Radio. Just call us at 800-306-1990 so we can show you our appreciation for your service.
You're listening to Ron Siegel's Home and Finance Show with local and national expert Ron Siegel. Now, here's Ron.
Welcome back to Ron Siegel Radio. Within every market, there are solutions as well as tremendous opportunities. You just need some trusted guidance. That is my message, and I will be delivering it every day on Ron Siegel Radio anytime, 800-306-1990. The Mortgage Minute today being brought to you by our friends at Gold Star Mortgage. When you're ready for that next mortgage, Gold Star has the programs and the products. You can go to one of two places, 800-306-1990. Reach out for the team at Gold Star or our new website, pretty simple to remember. It's scrolling across the bottom of the page right now, ronismylender.com. Pretty simple. Let's take a look at what's going on in the markets right now. I'll tell you what's going on in the mortgage-backed securities. The Dow Jones up 409 points right now. NASDAQ up 183.66. We're going to look at the S&P 500 up 51 points. 10-year Treasury, the yield is up. The interest rate is up 2 basis points. Mortgage-backed securities, the bond is up a little bit. The interest rate is down a little bit. And all of that is information found easily on that super secret website. Yes, indeed, google.com. But why do you tune into Ron Siegel Radio? Is I'm going to tell you why these things are happening, what's going on in the marketplace. That's what you're not going to find on google.com. You're certainly not going to find it on the Cannabis News Network or MSNB Hee-Haw. They're not going to tell you any of this. Fox News isn't going to tell it to you. You're not going to get this information. You tune into Ron Siegel Radio, and we will share it with you. So we got the Case-Shiller Index. Their pricing report came out. And one of the items in the Case-Shiller Index, they didn't even want to give us any forward-looking guidance last month. They come out every month, and it's always delayed information. That's just the way they do their work. They basically, so the report came out now that it has March numbers. It does not have all of the guidance in there, obviously, based on the pandemic. But they're still looking at a forecasting an increase. They showed that home prices rose 1.3% in March, 4.5% year over year, increased from 4.1% on the prior report. They're saying that homes are going to going forward rise 0.6% for April, 0.5% for the year over year increase. Now, we've talked to you a little bit about the numbers coming from Ivy Zellman in the Z Report. She's got a more optimistic outlook. Now, some of our crack economics team, we're looking at probably about 1.1 is going to be the number there. We're going to be looking at tomorrow. We get the ADP jobs report. I told you last week that the BLS jobs report is probably going to be about 17.1% unemployment. Black Knight now estimates there are 9.4 million mortgage holders in good standing. Those are people that can actually go out and buy a new house. And they used a very, very tight criteria, 20% equity in their homes, credit scores over 720, cut their interest rate by 0.75%. So they're looking at it from a standpoint of who can benefit from doing a home loan or refinance. But those are the same people that can take advantage of a market like this and go out and get a new home if they want to, move to that dream home if they wish. And speaking of the dream homes, I'll tell you right now, that's the Mortgage Minute, brought to you by our friends at Gold Star Mortgage. But one of the things that we talk about on Ron Siegel Radio is I talk from a combination of standpoints. I know that we get quite a few people watching our broadcast. In fact, we have a full stream that we have that we broadcast to of real estate professionals. And they can watch this broadcast all day long. And one of the great trainers, and I love using this term, the great trainers, in my opinion, one of the best there is Beef Wellington Pendell from the Career Compass. And the reason I enjoy the information that Beef shares, and I go and I see a lot of the different trainers, a lot of them are a lot of rah-rah and hype, and they use something called neural NLP, whatever the heck that thing is, right? And they're teaching people how to go out and influence and motivate people. Beef comes up and shares with these real estate professionals, how can we help the most consumers through the objective that we have as real estate professionals? And I know that in this time, Beef's probably going crazy because in addition to helping so many people, he's an amazingly talented person. I've said many, many times when I've gone to his conferences, to stand up, no notes, 2.5 days, 8 hours a day talking. I know, Beef, you're a good talker, but talking, entertaining, keeping people engaged. My hat's off to you, buddy. It's just amazing what you do.
Well, thank you, Ron. I appreciate that. You know, the people ask me what I do for a living, and I'm tempted to say, well, I'm kind of a trainer, kind of a motivational speaker, kind of in real estate, et cetera, et cetera. And when it comes right down to it, I'm really a bad insult stand-up comic. So there you go. It's gently entertaining type of thing. So I appreciate that, and we're glad that you came to our seminars. And for all of you out there wondering, watching, and listening and asking, because we get dozens of calls every single day to the office when our seminars are going to resume. As soon as our wonderful Gavin Newsom and the state of California allows us, we will be back. And we're hoping that it will be very, very soon. If you look at our website, which is The Career Compass, 3 words, thecareercompass.com, you'll see all the seminars that we have scheduled. And as of right now, we are going to be planning on doing the one in June if the state, if the state allows us to do so. If not, we're going to be doing July, and that's at Pechanga. That's going to be a good one, and so on. So for those of you wondering, we are going to be resuming our seminar. And for those of you wanting to know how to avoid the one that Ron Siegel will be at, sorry, he'll be at all of them. So you just come and meet him anyway.
And they are a lot of fun. There's a lot of people there that are looking to better themselves. So right now, Beef, one of the things that one of the things that we do really, really well in radio is we repurpose. I used to say plagiarize, but now I was told I can't say plagiarize. It's repurpose. And you've shown people at your seminars and when you've done some of the events that I do as well, you've shown people why it is complete lunacy, again, my word, not yours, for somebody to look for a discount realtor. You've shown actually in numerals why they should be actually wanting to pay more. Talk a little bit about your 7% program and why as a consumer I want to pay more than less.
Well, that's a great question. That's probably one of the number one questions I get. Let's put it this way, and I know that we can do all these normal cliche sayings like, "Oh, you get what you pay for," and all that kind of stuff. But in real estate, it's actually more than that, and it is lunacy. And that is your word, but it's also my word too. Anybody that wants a discount realtor is literally taking money out of their pocket, because here's why: most people assume that the less that I pay to the realtor, the more I put in my pocket. Totally and completely untrue. Completely untrue, because when you have a discount realtor, and that includes all these discount online programs, and it certainly includes the iBuyers, and we can talk about that if you want to, because these iBuyers, there's been there was just just yesterday there was a brand new development with the biggest iBuyer in the country, and we can talk about that if you want. But as far as what you're alluding to is what's something called the 7% technique, and let me just kind of top line it. When you have a listing that's 5%, which 98% of all the listings in the MLS are 5%, which is 2.5% to the buyer's agent and 2.5% to the listing agent. Basically, what happens is every buyer's agent out there who has a well-qualified buyer is going to look at all the listings, and they're all going to be the same, and that's just how it is. And they have no motivation to show one listing over another because the commission is 2.5% on all of them. So what you get is to a situation where in a buyer's market, and let me assure you, we're going to have a buyer's market, and I hope we don't, but we probably will, because of this COVID-19 thing, we'll be entering into a buyer's market. So when you choose a discount broker, and let's say you get a 5% agent or even a 4% agent, there is no commission on the buying side to motivate that agent to show your house over another house. However, let's just say you have a $500,000 house, okay? And you listed at 5%. The average agent is going to list that house $500,000, 2.5% on the buying side. Well, that buyer's agent that's looking at that house, who has a well-qualified buyer, has hundreds of houses they could show. However, try this. Suppose you listed for 7%, and now you're going to look right at your client, at your owner, and say, I want 7% to list your house, and doing so, I'm going to put more money in your pocket than a 5% agent. They're going to that's numerically untrue. No, it's not. Here's why. What you're going to do, you're going to put 3% on the listing side. That's your side if you're the listing agent, and a whopping 4% on the buyer's agent side. Now, how often all you buyer's agents out there have you seen a 4% buy side? Hardly ever. So as terrible as it may sound, we're all in the real estate industry to make money. I mean, nobody works for free. So when you have a 4% buy side transaction, every buyer's agent is scrambling to show that property to their prospective buyer. You're the first house on the list of houses being shown. You're the first house that's being suggested from the buyer's agent to their buyer. More showings means higher offers, means the price goes up. So in the 5% situation, what happens is the agent comes in with, we'll give you, $480 for the house. And then the listing agent says, no, we'll come down to maybe $495. No, we'll come up to $485. No, we'll come back down to $490. And you settle somewhere in the middle. Not so with the 7% listing. When that buyer's agent sees that 4% on the buyer's side, they go straight to their buyer and say, I found the perfect house for you. It's the only house I'm going to show you for 7 days. Okay? And because they want what? They want that 4%. And they automatically, because do you think a buyer's agent that's looking at a house that has a 4% buy side knows that every buyer's agent in town is also going to try to sell that house? Of course they do. So what they do is they go right to their buyer and they go, there's no way we're going to get this super hot house that's perfect for you unless we come in with what kind of an offer? A higher offer. So you automatically get higher offers on that house.
That's that's the whole thing right there, Beef, is I love that concept because, as a seller of a property, I'm not really interested, or I shouldn't be interested in what my agent makes. I shouldn't be interested in what the selling agent makes, the one that's representing the buyer. What's really important to me is what do I get out of the deal?
Right.
As the seller, I want the most money possible, and it's just plain math, and it's plain motivation. You're talking about motivating somebody to do something, and what's our best motivator in the whole world? I mean, I know you do a great job, Beef, but Benjamin seems like he does a little better.
Oh, right? The Benjamin is always the best motivator. People say, well, real estate is emotional. Yeah, it's emotional because money's emotional. So here's what happens is you get higher bids on that house than you normally would because every buyer's agent knows everyone's trying to buy this house. So what happens is you get into a bidding war. Okay, you get into a bidding war and more money goes into the seller's pocket, even though the agent is making more because the house sells for more because the agents are motivated to come in and buy that house. So everybody wins. And on top of that, guess who also wins? The neighborhood, because your house, now that it's instead of selling for $485 because all the agents are coming in doing negotiation-based offers with your house because it's got a 2.5% buy side, they come in with $495, $499, $500, $505, and you get into a bidding war, which pushes the price of the house up, which is your job, by the way. So here's what drives me crazy.
Wait a second. I'm sorry, Ron? When we come back, we're going to talk about what drives Beef crazy, and also what I want to find out from you is what effect this is going to have on the negotiation for repairs. So when we come back, we're going to chat with our friend Beef Wellington Pendell from the Career Compass. Again, his information is right there along the very bottom of the screen. We're going to chat with Beef about that when we come back. We're also going to talk a little bit about the economic recovery, why it's confusing a lot of people, and I'll probably leave the mortgage relief package till tomorrow because I want to spend more time with Beef today. You're listening to Ron Siegel Radio, discussing your real estate current events and the financial markets. You can reach me anytime. Our off-air number, 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990, or ronsiegelradio.com. Connect with us. Facebook.com/Ron Siegel Radio, on Twitter @Ron Siegel. And if you miss any part of our broadcast, Ron Siegel 1 on YouTube. Ron Siegel, the number 1 on YouTube. Stay tuned. We'll be back in just a few.
Siegel Lending Team offers you buying power. Let's say you can afford a monthly mortgage payment, including principal and interest, of around $1,900. With today's rate on a 30-year fixed mortgage of 3.75%, APR 3.85%, that payment could support a $416,000 mortgage. But if you wait and rates tick up to around 6.5%, which is roughly the average home mortgage rate over the past 30 years, that same $1,900 mortgage payment, including principal and interest, may only be able to support a $314,000 mortgage. That's over $100,000 worth of home you're missing out on by waiting. That's buying power. All you need to do to get started is reach out to the Siegel Lending Team at 800-306-1990. That's 800-306-1990. Or visit SiegelLendingTeam.com. That's SIEGEL LendingTeam.com. Payment example excludes taxes and insurance. Call us for full details, 800-306-1990. That's 800-306-1990 or SiegelLendingTeam.com. Equal housing lender, licensed under NMLS number 217037.
Are you purchasing or own a luxury home? If you're like so many others, your home is your largest asset and the mortgage is your largest debt. The Siegel Lending Team has some amazing financing opportunities right now. Jumbo loans up to $2 million, 30-year rates below 4%, 15-year rates near 3.5%, and if you can believe it, 7-year interest-only. The Lending Team has all the options for your jumbo or second home loan requirements. Take advantage of them while you can. To learn more about all the other financing products available from the Siegel Lending Team, call 1-800-306-1990. That's 1-800-306-1990. Or visit SiegelLendingTeam.com. That's SIEGEL LendingTeam.com. Again, call 1-800-306-1990. Rates subject to change without notice. Licensed by NMLS ID 217037 and 145502. Equal housing lender.
Homeowners that are 62 and older are about to find out a great way to live a better retirement. It's called a reverse mortgage, and SLT can help you learn more. Call the Siegel Lending Team at 800-306-1990 right now to receive your free booklet with no obligation. It answers questions like how a reverse mortgage works, how much you qualify for, the ways to receive your money, and more. When you call the experts at Siegel Lending Team today, you'll learn the benefits of a government-insured reverse mortgage, how it will eliminate your monthly mortgage payments, and give you tax-free cash from the equity in your home. Here's the best part. you still own your home. Now is the best time to take control of your retirement. Call 800-306-1990. That's 800-306-1990 to get your free brochure. Call today or visit our website at SiegelLendingTeam.com. That's SIEGEL LendingTeam.com, or simply call 800-306-1990.
You're listening to Ron Siegel's Home and Finance Show with local and national expert Ron Siegel. Now, here's Ron.
Welcome back to Ron Siegel Radio. Within every market, there are solutions as well as tremendous opportunities. You just need some trusted guidance. That is my message, and I will be delivering it every day on Ron Siegel Radio or anytime at 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990. The real-time real estate segment today being brought to you by the area trusted real estate professionals of Ron Siegel Radio. Text SLT Home Digest to 79564. Find out precisely what the county recorder knows about your property and what the market thinks about your property. Are you confused about the economic recovery? Well, here's why it could be. As we continue to work through the health crisis that plagues this country, more and more conversations are turning to economic recovery. While we look for signs that we've reached a plateau in cases of COVID-19, the concern and fear of what will happen as businesses open up again is on all of our minds. This causes confusion about what an economic recovery will look like. With this in mind, it's important to understand how economists are using three types of sciences to formulate their forecasts and to work toward clearer answers. And you know what an economist's idea of a clearer answer is, don't you? I think they kind of guess. The great Jim Doty over at Chapman University says that if an economist ever tells you that they have 40% certainty, that tells you they have absolutely no idea what the heck they're talking about. Just throw that out there. That's Doty's law. So here are the areas. 1, business science. How has the economy rebounded from similar slowdowns in the past? Number 2, health science. When will COVID-19 be under control? Will there be another flare-up of the virus this fall? Number 3, people science. After businesses are fully operational, how long will it take American consumers to return to normal consumption patterns, like going to the movies, attending some of the Career Compass events, attending a sporting event, flying? Well, Sam Cotter, chief economist at Freddie Mac, says, quote, although the uncertainty of the crisis means forecasts of economic activity are more unclear than usual, we expect that most of the economic damage from the virus will be contained to the first half of the year. Going forward, we should see a recovery starting in the second half of 2020. This past week, the Bureau of Economic Analysis released the advanced estimate for GDP, gross domestic product, for the first quarter of 2020. The estimate came in at a negative 4.8%. I think we've got that on the screen right now, showing the chart for you if you're watching us, RonSiegelRadio.tv. It was unclear indicator showing how the U.S. economy slowed as businesses shut down and consumers retreated to their homes in fear of the health crisis and of contracting COVID-19. And in cases like in California, in the city of Chicago or Washington, where the government said that they're going to arrest you if you go and do anything. If you breathe wrong, they're going to arrest you or cite you. Experts agree that the second quarter of 2020 will be an even greater slowdown, a sign more businesses are feeling the effects of this health crisis. The same experts, however, projected businesses will rebound and recovery will start to happen in the second half of the year. Bottom line, as time goes on, we'll have more clarity around what the true economic recovery will look like, and we'll have more information on the sciences that will affect it. As the nation's economy comes back to life and businesses embrace new waves of innovation to serve their customers, the American spirit of grit, growth, and prosperity will be alive and well, and I believe that with 100% sincerity. And I also believe that the great scientists of our country will come up with solutions for this sooner rather than later, and we'll be able to go back to the American way of life. That is the real-time real estate segment. Text SLT Home Digest to 79564. Before we went to break, we were chatting with Wellington Pendell, the Career Compass. We were talking about bidding wars on real estate, how to encourage or to incentivize, if that's a word, a bidding war. right? How do you get the market to say, I want to start getting a bidding war on 123 Main Street instead of 125 Main Street? And the Career Compass has a great solution for that. It works wonderfully. I can't figure out, and I've tried to poke holes in this to figure out where the fallacy might be, and knowing the way people think, I don't find it. But before the break, you were starting to tell us, and I so rudely interrupted you, Beef, that what drives you crazy about this marketplace. So take it from there and help us out.
Well, the main question that I wanted to go over is what's in it for the seller? Okay, so you're presenting this listing presentation on what we call the 7% technique. And boy, I tell you, if you want to get every single listing presentation you ever go on and at 7%, learn this backwards and forwards, up and down. I guarantee 90 to 95% of all the listing presentations you or any realtor goes on, when they use the process that we can teach you, it's very simple, but you got to know how to present it. You will get 90 to 95% of every listing presentation you go on. And if you're already at 90%, you're going to get 100. So here's the thing. We were talking about how a 7% listing, 3 on the listing side, 4 on the buy side, incentivizes every buyer's agent in town, not only to show your listing first, but also to come in with higher bids. So let me give you 2 comparisons. Let's say you've got a house at $500,000 and it's a 5% listing, 2.5% on both sides. How much is that house going to sell for, especially now or in a regular market? Usually somewhere in the 485 range, typically 485. The national average is about 92% to 95% of list value, depending on the market. So let's just say that a normal house at 2.5% on each side sells for 485, for example, which is very common, happens all the time. It takes you 30 to 90 days because you got offer, counter offer, back and forth, blah, blah, blah. So what is 485 after a 5% commission? Okay, it's $460,500. Now this is before expenses because they're all about the same. So this is just considering the commission, which is the transaction itself. Now take the opposite of that. Take the 7% listing, same house right next door, $500,000 house, but this one has a 3% listing side and a whopping 4% on the buyer side. How quickly does that sell? Not 30 to 90 days. Sometimes it sells 30 to 90 minutes. Now I can show you examples of that because the buyer's agents see this 4% whopping buy side commission and they start making offers. So this house doesn't sell for 485. I mean, at minimum, you're going to get a full price offer on this. I mean, easily. So let's just say that you get an offer of $500,000 list price, and this happens within a couple of days. What is 93%? In other words, take 7% away from a full price offer. What do you get? You get 465. Compare that to the 460, 500 you got on the 5% listing. So on the 5% listing, it took 30 to 90 days to sell, and the seller, before expenses, because they're all about the same, before expenses, put $460,500 in their pocket. Go to the 7% listing. It sells in 3 or 4 days, and the seller puts $465,000 in their pocket, and that's minimum. That's if you just get a full price offer. So if a $500,000 has 2 houses sitting right next to each other, one of them's got a 7% commission, one of them's got a 5% commission. The 7% not only sold faster, but put $5,000 approximately more in the seller's pocket. There you go right there. And that's not considering if you get into a bidding war. Let's say you do get into a bidding war. Maybe it's a nice house, maybe, whatever. You get into a bidding war and it gets bid up to 505, maybe even 510. Now the seller's putting $495,000 in their pocket after commission versus a 460. Excuse me, let me back up. 470,000, 475,000 in their pocket versus a 465 or even a 460. So here's the thing, guys. You are putting more money in the seller's pocket by charging more commission. I know it sounds counterintuitive, but you've got to list correctly. The 7% technique is being used by thousands of realtors. I get emails every single day, and I get texts every single day, and I've got hundreds, if not thousands, of testimonials through email and video of agents selling houses using the 7% technique, and all of a sudden it's like, boom, the house sells the next day. There are examples that we've cataloged that an agent is sitting on a house for 30, 40, 50 days, no offers, no activity, no showings. They pull it off the MLS, put it back on the MLS with a 3 listing side, 4 buyer side, boom, sells in a week. Same house, same price. So what should they have done? They should have just put 7% on it in the first place. Now, there's a way that you have to show this to your seller, and there's a way that you can do this. Now, here's the other really exciting part. is you can do something that 99.9% of all agents have never heard of if you do this technique. In the notes section, additional comments section, or remarks section of your contract, the contract you have with your seller, okay, you can add something called a commission override clause. Wow. Never heard of that before. Even you highly experienced agents, even Ron, prior to meeting me, probably had never heard of a commission override clause. And Ron knows everything there is to know about real estate and mortgage. Man's a genius. So here's the thing. Commission override clauses is a bonus on your commission based on the price of the house. So if you sell for 505, 510, maybe even 515, which happens all the time in these bidding wars, you actually get a small percentage of that excess money, and every seller in the world would do that. I mean, you just ask your seller, Mr. and Mrs. Seller, if I give you a $100 bill, if I have a $100 bill in my pocket, would you give me $10 for it? Well, of course I would. Fantastic. So what you're saying is every $100 bill over a certain price the house gets bid up to, you'll share with me at 90% to you, only 10% to me? Well, I would love to do that. That's just more money in my pocket. Exactly. That's a commission override clause. You must know how to put that in your contracts. You must know how to work that in. This is the 7% technique, as fast and easy and quickly as I can present it. If you're a real estate agent and you're doing listings, especially in the future, especially after Corona, you absolutely must know several things. Number one, you must know the 7% technique. Number two, you must know other tools and techniques that we teach, like the EAT, the PAT, the lawyer letter, and other kinds of things. And most importantly, you must know not how to work with, thank you, CAR, no, how to beat the iBuyers that are literally taking your business as we speak. And we are the number one company in the state of California teaching how to beat the iBuyers when it comes to Open Door, Zillow, Redfin, and all the rest of them. We've been doing it for years. Okay, we have taught more people the class, which is called How to Beat the iBuyers, than any. It's the number one lunch and learn in the state of California for 3 years, triple over the next best competition. And by the way, if you're a broker, manager, or even an agent in an office and you'd like to have that class, it's a 2-hour class, How to Beat the iBuyers in your office, just give us a call here at the Career Compass or go to thecareercompass.com. Again, thecareercompass.com. And there's a button right there where you can click, I would like to request an in-office class, and there is no cost to it. So this is the kind of stuff that we teach not only at your brokerage, but also in our seminar. You need to have this kind of stuff, folks. This is the future of real estate. Ron, you still there? I think I lost the audio here. Ron, you still there, buddy? Anyway, while Ron's coming back, let me explain, because a lot of people say, how do you work this in to the listing presentation? Okay, well, you're going to be able to provide two scenarios. Okay, you're going to be able to provide two scienarios. Okay, the first one is where you actually present and show what a 5% listing does. 2.5% on one side, 2.5% on the other side. This automatically creates what, again, like I said before, negotiation-based offers, because that buyer's agent, their job is in a nutshell to get the best offer and the best deal for their agent, or for their client. That they're the agent that's supposed to be getting this for their client. So they're always going to come in with negotiation-based offers. Rarely are they ever going to come in with an automatic full price offer. To get the best offer and the best deal for their agent, or for their client. That they're the agent.
Am I back?
In the other case, you've got a 7% commission, which almost guarantees a full price offer or better. So what you're going to do in your listing presentation is you're going to show two sides: the 5% and what it does, and the 7%. And you're going to be able to show them numerically. I can't stress this enough. If you want to provide new value to your clients, you must be able to show them numerically on a piece of paper or the spreadsheets that we give you at the Career Compass Seminar. They're brilliant. Exactly how you put more money in their pocket than a 5% commission, and you're going to be able to do it every single time, and more money in their pocket than an iBuyer.
So, Beef, I don't know. Let me know if you can hear me, because I obviously lost my internet on this side. So, I can hear you. Beautiful. So, and I heard I was able to get on my iPad real quick while we were trying to reconnect over here. And for our producers, we're going to just skip that last set of commercials so I can keep talking to Beef. But a lot of what we have is obviously our audience has both the real estate community, but we also have the consumer community. And you're very, very transparent. So it's not like, your stuff right now especially is not exclusive. I mean, if a consumer wants to see what you're doing, you're actually doing live radio or live internet every day to try and educate the marketplace during this, where we can actually learn something, right?
That's exactly right. And here's the thing, guys. We teach realtors how to be better realtors. Okay? We teach real estate agents how to serve their clients better, put more money in their client's pocket. So this is not let's hold this away from the community. We do a 3 p.m. during Corona, the entire time during the coronavirus, we do a 3 p.m. real estate agent training session from 3 to 3:30, very quick, very easy. And we do a little tidbit each day right on our Facebook Live, and that's The Career Compass. Again, 3 words, The Career Compass. Facebook Live every day at 3 p.m. All of the previous episodes have been recorded, and you can listen to all of them. It's completely free. Anybody can listen, because we want the consumer to know that what the Career Compass teaches real estate agents helps the consumer, it helps the economy, it helps the comps in the area, it drives comps up, not down. I mean, guys, a lot of these things that you learn at these other seminars and stuff are designed to push the comps down. And iBuyers are certainly pushing the comps down. They have a systematic way of reducing the value of a neighborhood over time. It's terrible. Our techniques, we want the consumer to know. We want the seller to know. We want the buyer to know exactly what we do to push real estate values up, which is the number one job of a real estate agent, is to increase and put more money in the seller's pocket. That is why you're being paid a commission. So in the case of a 5% commission, you're actually doing the opposite of what you should be doing as a realtor. You're actually pushing the price of the property down where you should be pushing it up. So guys, doing a 5% listing presentation is actually counter to what you should be doing for your seller. Doing a 7% listing presentation, the way we teach you, is actually right in line with exactly what a realtor and a real estate professional should be doing, which is pushing the price upward.
So let's unpack that a little bit, Beef, because what we are seeing in many instances, and I hear on these commercials on TV all the time, is if you're giving away your equity by paying a commission. Mm-hmm. So explain that. I mean, if I'm paying somebody on that $500,000 house and I'm paying them $35,000 on commission, and I hear these my word yahoos on radio coming out and saying, well, we can do it for 2%, which is $10,000. How do I compete with? How do I reconcile that as a seller? And then on the other side, is the buyer getting stiffed by all this?
Okay. Well, the buyer's never getting stiffed by all this, because the buyer's actually going to be moving into a house that's worth more than it was if they sold it at a discount, because it's all based on comps. So that's the first thing. Okay, that's the first thing. The buyer's never getting stiffed, because when you bought your house, did you think you were getting stiffed? Probably not, because don't you want to work with an agent and in a community and in a neighborhood where the prices are going up? You'd never want to buy a property in a neighborhood the prices are going down. That's the wrong thing. So that's for the buyers, the first thing. So the buyers actually benefit from realtors doing this in their neighborhood. Now, for the seller, again, let's do some quick little math. What would you rather have? Back to your, hey, I can do it for $35,000 versus 10. What would you rather have? Okay, would you rather have half of $10? Okay, or if let me back it up here to make it easy. So I want to use an actual example. Okay, so everybody got your little calculators out here. Okay, let's say that your agent sells the house for $500,000 at 7% commission. How much do you put in the seller's pocket? $465,000. Okay, now let's go with a discounter. Let's go with a guy selling it for $500,000 that actually only gets $485,000 out of it because he put a 5% commission on it. Now take $485,000 and remove 5%. What do you get? $460,000. In which case did the seller make more money? The 7%. So in other words, what's happening is, yes, you can go to a discount broker who's going to do it for $10,000, but they're going to sell the house for way less than a full price broker doing it for 7%.
So they don't really care, right?
What would you rather have?
Out there and putting it out on the street and saying, "Hey, I don't really care what it sells for; it's going to sell."
Exactly.
With what you're saying is, we're going to get everybody and their uncle wanting to come see it.
Right. It's not about the guys. Okay, here's to the consumer and to the realtor. It's not about the commission. It's about the selling price. I mean, if I sold that $500,000 house for $1 million, I had a cash buyer for $1 million. Okay, would you be okay with paying me a 10% commission?
Sure.
because you put $900,000 in your pocket, wouldn't you? But wait a minute, the other guy will do it for 10 grand. Yeah, you're right, but he's only going to get $485,000 for the house. So again, it has nothing to do with commission and everything to do with the how much you can sell the house for. So when I'm doing a listing presentation and people say, well, so-and-so will do it for 4% and I'll put more money in my pocket. And I would say, gee, why would you want to take all that money out of your pocket? Well, what do you mean? The first thing I ask a seller is, do you care how much money I'm making, or do you care how much money I put in your pocket? Please answer that question honestly, because if you just want to restrict my income, then we're probably not a match here, because I don't care what you make at work. Why would you care how much I make at work? The only thing that matters to you is how much I put in your pocket. So let me show you numerically. What happens with a 5% listing and with a 7% listing. Specifically, when the 5% listing is 2.5% on each side and the 7% listing is 3 on my side, 4 on the buyer's side. You don't care about my commission. Let me just show you what happens.
Beef, I don't know. I didn't pay this person even to put this up here, but they must like you.
There you go. Facebook just said, I sold a listing in 2 days in the past week using what I learned from the Career Compass. Thank you for that one. We get thousands of those every single day. Ladies and gentlemen, if you are a real estate professional, you've got to come to the Career Compass. It's amazing.
So, Beef, I want to ask you, because we only have a couple of minutes left, and I don't know, you might have even hit on this while I lost a connection. What happens on the request for repairs on your product, your process versus the discount process?
Oh, that's the best part. Ready for this? Let's say that you have the buyer's agent out there seeing the 7% listing. They can't wait to get to closing, can they? They can't wait because they have a 4% whopping buy side on their side. Now, let me ask you a quick question. You know those funny little things called contingencies? In other words, repair requests and things like that? How many contingencies are going to be in the offer that a buyer's agent brings to the listing agent on a 4% buy side? There's going to be almost none. I mean, there's going to be so little contingencies and so many requests because that buyer's agent can't wait to get to closing. I mean, you see offers like, oh, there's no roof. Oh, that's light and airy. We like that. So what happens is the number of contingencies in the offers goes down to nothing on the 4% buy side because that buyer's agent can't wait to get to that closing table.
And that's the perfect information right there. And that's what's so great about this is it's helping everybody, right? When you go in and look at a house, you're going to have, and you're the buyer, you're going to have a great home inspection company. I always tell people here in Orange County to use the Hammond inspection team. We've got another one out in Coachella Valley that we like to talk to, right? So we've got these people that are all part of our family that we're going to introduce you to at any time. I've got a whole host of them. So as a buyer, you're going to know exactly what you're getting into. As a seller, your goal is, hey, you know something? I'm divorcing myself of this asset. As a buyer, you're buying a home. As a seller, you're selling an asset. You're divorcing yourself of that asset. You just want to be done with it and move on. And that's the whole idea there. Now, before we only have, like I said, about a minute left, Beef. For those people that are in the real estate community, and I don't work for the Career Compass. I don't get paid by the Career Compass. I did preview a product that they have. I think it's one of the best real estate investments there is. I didn't invest anything in it, but I did get to preview the whole thing. It's called the Greatest Hits. And we don't want it to go to Beef's head. Somebody must know you, Beef, because they put that right on here that we don't want this to go to your head. But tell us a little bit about the Greatest Hits, and as a real estate community, how do we get involved in that?
Okay. The Career Compass has 2 products. Number one, we have lifetime memberships to our seminars. So we do a seminar every single month at a 5-star location. Of course, after Corona, we would be back up and running. So as a Career Compass member, you pay one time. You pay $195 one time to be a Career Compass member for life. That allows you to come to any of our seminars for free, for life as a real estate agent. We never charge you again. And a little bonus, we have a separate company, completely separate. Thank you, Department of Real Estate, a separate company that actually provides your license renewal in addition to all of this. So it's just an additional bonus. What an amazing thing. So as a Career Compass member, you get to come to any of our seminars for free, for life. Now, throughout that, we have hundreds of different tools and techniques. We also have something called the Career Compass Greatest Hits, and that's an audio version of all the greatest tools, techniques, and systems that we ever have, including the 7% technique that you can take home with you. You can listen to them on our audio CDs. You can listen to them on our flash drive that we give you, or you can download them right from the special Career Compass Greatest Hits website area. So you can download, you can listen to it with the flashlight, you can use the CDs. We give you all three formats. And that program basically allows you to listen and learn all the tools and techniques Career Compass has ever taught over and over and over again, because the mother of mastery is repetition. Repetition, 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 repetition. Listening over and over again. It's the most successful real estate agent recorded success training program in California history. It's amazing stuff. And you can get that right on our website too. And it's on sale right now based on Corona. So you can get that right on our website, The Career Compass. So you can get our Career Compass membership and the greatest hits right on our website, thecareercompass.com.
So as we close out our broadcast today, I want to share something that I listened to, and I might have shared it once or twice already on different shows. I watched an interview with Mark Cuban, billionaire owner of the Dallas Mavericks. And he said, as we come out of this virus and we get our economy and our country back to where we're going, he said, one of the questions that's going to come up with every interview and any entrepreneur is, what did you learn during this time of quarantine when you were sitting home, having to be there, where you're normally going out and doing your job and living your life. Now you're sitting at home for 8 or 10 or 12 hours a day doing, twiddling your thumbs. What did you learn? And I'm going to submit, if you're a real estate professional, and I know in Orange County, California, there's 19,000 licensees that 90% of them do absolutely nothing, right? That's just statistics. It's not me being negative to them. What did you learn? What have you taken the time to help your clientele? What have you done to help the community, the homeowners in our community? And I know that if you go to the Career Compass events, and again, I'm not a paid spokesman for them. I get nothing out of saying this other than helping you, my listener, and my audience. And as a consumer advocate, they've got this little logo that if you go to the Career Compass and you go to one of the, and you're a member, a student, that you can put on your business card. And what I mean by that is, if you're looking at selling your house, look for that logo on the agent's business card, because that tells you that they've invested money in their career, in their business, to help you as the consumer. It's just and again, I get nothing out of saying that other than satisfaction, right? The satisfaction that I've told somebody that, hey, you can do better if you've got somebody that understands marketing. Right. And that's what you're learning. I mean, Beef has all these different tools and tips and techniques and information. He didn't even have a chance to talk to you about what happens if you give the selling agent or the buyer's agent the full 7% and how you can make money at that. You have to go and get the package, because that's going into things in depth. We don't do that on Ron Siegel Radio, but you can get that there. So, Beef, I really appreciate you coming on. We're going to have to do this where I can actually hear the whole broadcast, being that if I don't lose audio. But I really appreciate you taking the time, coming on and sharing with the community and doing what you do. I know that there are some people that don't understand you, don't understand what you do in Sacramento, and they don't realize the fact that he's really providing a great service to the community, right? And he's telling people what as I do every day, what they don't want you to know. He's actually telling you that. So I appreciate you doing that. We'll do this again. And as always, I ask, please set that first radio preset button to come back here and join Ron Siegel Radio, where we only speak about items affecting your house and your bank account. Thanks to all of our sponsors. Thanks to John, who's engineering us today. And of course, a special thanks to you for spending a little bit of your day with us. That's all for Ron Siegel Radio. Again, if you have any questions or to meet any of our guests, call me anytime. 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990, or ronsiegelradio.com. And remember, make a lot of money so you can help a lot of people and have a lot of fun. Have a great day. We'll talk to you next time on Ron Siegel Radio.
Lights go out and I can't be saved. Tides that I try.